So Merry Christmas, guys. It's Christmas Eve, so I guess I've came home a little bit earlier than usual. I have about maybe 1.5 hours of sunlight left. So the reason for me to show you these two tubs is actually uh, the local authorities finally caught up with me. So, being an eyesore to the community, as they mentioned, my front yard. So, my front yard has been cleared up. That's that corner. That's another corner down here, which I have to clear up, and also um, to take these two tubs away from my front door, so I no longer be able to collect any more rainwater. So any other excess is all chucked into the house. Um, well, that's to just to satisfy not the local authorities but the neighbors around. Well, with all that going on, and quite a fair bit of rain going on here, unfortunately, all the rainwater will be washed down to the drain. That's a small little discussion with the authorities, but small price to pay. So on any normal given day, that's how it should look like according to them. Nothing, not even a top that can be seen inside. I actually threw everything to the back of the car, so the piles of rubbish has been moved actually into the house. Most of them I hid it inside the house, and also the working staff tools are all shifted to the back of the car. So that's how things are. So I just need to move the tools away from the back and get some clearance so I can start work again every time I work on the car. So as for this week, the whole process would be more or less concentrated on the wiring. So first off, I like to settle off this mess of BMS wires, and the high cable power. Actually, I am not too worried about it, as I already actually I had a simple map of how the wire would run through, and being battery number 5-1 would be the most positive, and while battery number 5-5 would be the most negative one. So it's all wired up in nicely, as I have planned out the layout even before I drop in the batteries. So more or less the high cable powers are actually all in place, except for this one here, and a couple of little ones down at the back here. So there's one, there's another one here. So two of them are back, the other two is clear, so not much of a problem there. So here goes the I don't know, the chaos. Well, with not much sunlight left, I'll quickly update what is going on. It's just rained quite heavily. Unfortunately, this time no extra washing water. Anyway, I am almost connected up. I'm sorry, it's a bit dark in here. So most of the connections I found and I've connected all of them sort of a permanent way. well, it's more or less going to be permanent at all. So but these connections are, quite fragile. So what I came out with, I hope I could get this on camera. If not, I have to reshoot this on another day, on a brighter day. So I'll quickly try to do this, tie it down, cover the whole thing with a piece of old rubber tubing from a motorcycle tube. So I'll cover up all these connections, the BMS connections, with the rubber cover. What's been going on so far? I found something like M2 or something, the shop told me. So to fit both of this and a nut to stop the movement at the back here. So both of them are basically fastened together quite well, and it's quite impossible to force it up. So that is how I secure it, and after that use an old tube to just to make sort of a cover on it. And lastly, tie it down with some good old trusty cable ties. That should keep out all the dust and also abrasions. And it would be impossible for the connection to go loose or to create any form of arc. Because at last the connection will also be tight at the end here. You want to clean up a little bit here, so that should stop any dust from going in the connection at all. So the back is also tied up, so there is no way that the dust could get in the connections. Connections are tight, so both the connections are not going to move at all, fastened by the bolts. And also as a insurance, it's this rubber and cable tie assembly is another way to ensure that this connection is not going to fall off under any form of vibration that the vehicle might produce during my normal use. Okay, so trim up the connections, then should be all of it. So it's Christmas Day, and we are up to making some more extension to be made. This concerns connector number 6, C6. So after opening up the C6, as I've suspected the 9 pins, 6 of them are in use. So I've quickly charted out the numbers and the color codes according to the back connection, and I do have some 6-core wired which are labeled with tags lying around. So mine, I need at least 2 lengths of them, and I quickly label down the conversion numbers and the tags. So these are the 2 length of wires and tag numbers that will correspond to the pins. So there you go. And on top of that, I would also need to extend the sort of connection number 1, which I've already done. This is the connector number 1. This is the new wires that I'm using. The old wire, there you go, that's the old wire. So I'm using this. It's much more flexible and still a 2-core cable. So onto the connection. So just to make sure that everything is good, since these are actually old wires that are scavenged from robots at work. So these are actually robot harness which I picked up from work. Since they actually want to scrap it, so what I could quickly make sure is all connections are good, which I assume they are good, but since this would be put in the important places, I would not give it any more chance. Need to test them out, each and every one using a meter, so to check they do not short and the circuit that does not break. So these are to make sure all are in good condition. So I'll run through the 6 wires. It's easily to find once you know they are labeled with they are all labeled with corresponding numbers, so it's not too difficult to find them. Okay. So none of them are short. We'll run through it on the second sets of wire, so I can start making the extension. Well, believe it or not, these 2 terminals plus the extension plus the 2 wires, that is what's extended, took me a whole day. Oh, unbelievable. So now the whole thing is shrink wrap, and everything is insulated. Where's the focus? Well, it is insulated properly as well as I could. So now let's take out the meter and check to make sure all the terminals matches each other. With the new extension cables done, there is actually one more cable from this bunch of wires that needs extension. So that wire goes all the way here, and you end up with a plug with 2 points here. It's actually sort of a sensor for the charger. So I have planned to put that display thingy on the front, so that is why the extension here. Now quickly, there is still some good 2 core cables with me. I would extend this, so hopefully it could reach from the front display to all the way to the back of the batteries, and to the charger, which I plan to put it at the back near the batteries also. So finally, more than a day now, so these are some of the extensions that I made. This is the 1, 2, 3 extension, but in total there are actually 6 connections. So finally it's all hopefully is completed. So now it's time to plug all this in to the car, most of it at least, and carry on with the work. So this is the progress up to now. 90% of the BMS wires are all in. Next would be would not make the high cable power yet, as you can see the high power connections are not made at all, not until the very last minute. I'm not going to connect it. I've made only 1 connection out of maybe all the 5, so I'm leaving the high power connections by itself for now. So that's the progress for now. Thanks for watching. I'll with the remaining sunlight, I still have a couple of this little one to go, number 5, and the extended wire that I have to run from here all the way down to the dash. So hopefully that's the little hole that I plan to put in the display in. So that would be for before New Year, I hope should be done.